is an interesting word because it means so many different things to so many different people. So I have been on a journey coming to Belfast, but I've been in Belfast now for so long, it almost feels more of a journey when I go back to the States to visit family and things. So there's that physical journey, that physical distance. But also, the idea that journeys that we go on impact us both internally and externally is really important. So we as people can go on a journey. I personally have gone on a journey, like I've already mentioned, of coming into understanding one side of the community a bit better than I did before. But also my own journey of coming to accept myself within Belfast. I think when you first move to a new place, there's a real sense of trying to understand how you fit in, trying to force yourself to fit in some ways, or trying to represent where you come from within the new context. And I actually had a friend who spoke at the Four Corners Festival last year, Neil Cragen. So he had the opposite journey of going from Belfast to moving to the States. And I was talking to him about how I was struggling to understand how to be an American in Belfast. And he simply said, well, you're not an American in Belfast, you're Mylie, who lives in Belfast. And as simple as that phrase was, it really clicked something for me of, oh yeah, I don't have to be the representative of my people, or I don't need to become more Belfast to fit in. I'm just who I am in this space, and it's been very freeing to have that journey as well. And again, a relationship coming out of the Four Corners Festival. Everybody's experience of the Four Corners Festival is quite unique. We have such a wide variety of events. It depends on what you're seeing, what you're going to. But I would hope that the journey that people take through the Four Corners Festival would be one towards new ideas, new relationships even, and perhaps new perspective on something that you're familiar with. Because people tend to be drawn to events that are intriguing to them, right? That are relevant to them, and to hopefully introduce new language into that, new ideas, or perhaps just a broadening. I think that's an important journey that the Four Corners Festival can provide. And also journeying physically into different parts of the city as well. That's something we're very intentional about and want to encourage people to do. For myself as well, I moved here, I lived in South Belfast, didn't have a car. So the Four Corners Festival literally introduced me to whole new parts of the city and parts that I still am not familiar with. We keep going to new places, and that's been really helpful in making me feel more comfortable in different parts of the city, and hopefully that's what our guests are getting as well. I see Belfast as being on a very intentional journey at this point in time. There are so many layers to that. So there's constantly the peace journey. That's something we talk about a lot. But there's also a lot of things shifting within Belfast, I think, even in terms of the investment. So things like Belfast City Council is now going to try and save the assembly rooms, that built heritage. There's these investment of this journey of trying to bring in new development and also revitalize the old, and how do we do this? And I think at the center of that conversation, as with most of these conversations, is what is it going to be for the people of Belfast? Like, what does the community need? What do we need? And that conversation of how do we move forward and what do we need is part of this whole journey in built heritage, in relationships, in the immigrant community coming in. What do they need and how do we engage with them? And learning to see how immigrants can positively impact Belfast. And so I think there's so many different little journeys that all come together to this thing of, Belfast is a city of people, and people who are warm and wonderful and amazing and brilliant, and also a lot of people who are hurting and who are in need, and how do we bridge those things, I think is a big journey for Belfast. Yeah, I really, really hope that the festival this year speaks into a lot of these needs that the city has. For example, we have Dr. Jamar Tisby coming to speak. He's someone who's a Black historian and author and theologian from the States who speaks a lot about racial reconciliation, and that is something that we're seeing a lot. And the context is different in Belfast than it would be in the US in some ways, but to understand the biases we have towards incoming immigrants and things like that, this is a conversation that needs to be had. And I think for a lot of people who would be very much anti-racist, there's still this sense of, oh, well, that's not, like, I don't know what to do with this. I don't know how to speak into this. Like, this is something that feels so foreign. And like, I don't know anybody who's racist, so what do I do? You know, having those conversations gives people tools to engage in Belfast. So that's something that I would hope